And after the adjustment, so what are your new challenges now?
It's really about uh, sustaining the momentum because we're fortunate that we've bounced back.
Uh-huh. Tell us more about that. How did you bounce back? What was a pivotal point for you?
Well, it was really about making sure that top of mind was our customer.
Okay.
And we have values, John. It's called CITES, CITES. C stands for customer focus, integrity, that's the I part, teamwork, excellence, and sense of ownership. So first and foremost, our after we made sure our people were okay, uh, the focus was really on the customer. So we had to make sure that we continue serving our Filipino countrymen, in whatever way we can, even if in the beginning it was difficult because we had limited raw materials and packaging materials coming in because some of our suppliers were also affected. Some of them shut down. Some of them only had a few people coming in. It took some time for their production to start up again. So, you know, we depended also on our suppliers for that. And then eventually, while everybody was adjusting to, you know, ECQ to MECQ and then GCQ and MGCQ. As one government official said, uh, we have to learn to dance with COVID or these quarantine transitions, you know. So basically, we had to adapt. And what does adapt mean, John? I have this acronym. A is agility, D is diversity, A is assertiveness, P is perseverance, and T is being timely. So what about agility? Um, it's really about adapting quickly to market changes. So both internally and externally, and responding rapidly and even being flexible
And
to
we
customer
also have to
demand.
consider, right, that there are two sides of, two sides of the market if you're looking at a business model. There's the output market, which, which determines demand, and there's the input market. So what you were saying a while ago, if you're looking at, of the cost side, supply chain side, that that kind of took a while to adjust, didn't it?
Yes,
even
yes,
if the even if the market side is okay and demand is stable, if you didn't have, and if you weren't agile enough to make adjustments on the supply side or the input market side, it'd be very difficult to sustain a business. So
yeah,
how are you able to adjust?
yeah. And we also had to make certain decisions because we couldn't produce all our SKUs. So we
Okay.
looked at the Pareto of our business, which
Hmm.
is 80% is really our regular Patis SKUs. So we decided instead of producing like, 50 or more SKUs, just focus on your top five,
Prioritize. Yeah.
which give you 80% of the business. So that really, that major decision benefited the company. So we focused on the few that gave us the 80%. And we grew even more
Yeah.
with that major decision and made with the limited inputs. We even had difficulty with the limited workforce coming in. Uh, we had to be more efficient. So that was one of the major decisions we had. And we also had to make some adjustment with regards to our channels. So because the demand was so much more with our key accounts, your modern trade supermarkets, and that time our distributors were struggling because they had to they only they decided as well to have a limited skeletal workforce given that a lot of stores in the general trade closed, your traditional outlets, and even some of your workers had difficulties with working arrangements. Some cut down their work days or limited their area coverage. So our distributors had a tough time as well, but they've adjusted already. So in terms of the channel focus, yeah, that's where we focus on modern trade, supermarkets, and well, another unfortunate decline also and hardest hit was the HRI or hotels, restaurants, and institutions. So they were really hard hit, and you know, it took a while before they could open up again.
So part of the pivot is really focusing more on the traditional channels.
No, on modern trade, uh, both for your national key accounts and your local supermarkets. That's where we focused, and even our distributors focused on with their assigned local supermarkets.
And so, how are you now, generally speaking?
Well, I'd say we've recovered, and I believe we're back and into achieving the double-digit growth. So we bounced back, and I believe it's really a result of focusing on the customer and really being more and being able to adapt, being able to be more agile, diversifying our resources,
That's how to do it. Yeah.
and being assertive. We continue to be assertive as well because we've in fact added some uh, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We when a lot of these big companies and even small companies decided to pause or hold their marketing efforts, I believe we had to say something about what was going on, right? So what was our countrymen feeling? How do we empathize with them? How do we send a message of hope, of inspiration, of thanking our frontline heroes? That's why we came up with this purong pasasalamat uh, para sa mga makabagong bayani. And we released that end of August in time for National Heroes Day. We also had a couple of initiatives where we also donated food packs to our surrounding communities as well, and collaborated, in fact, with some uh, multinational and local companies.
How are you moving ahead, and what are your next moves, Andy?
One more, sorry, John, but one more thing I failed to mention was we were also glad that our export market uh, responded uh, in ways that we haven't experienced before. It goes to show that those Filipinos abroad, whether they are OFWs or they are immigrants or they are maybe second or third generation Filipinos who were born and raised in those countries, especially in the U.S., in Canada, in the UK, and in other parts of Asia, and they still continue to patronize our products
Uh-huh.
and love to use our patis in their Filipino dishes. John, because with everybody staying at home, so you had more families not just eating but cooking at home.
I
So
hear you, Andy. I mean, I'm
and
quite
that
sure
you
you.
can speak for yourself and your family, right? You've done wonderful recipes and cooking, di ba?